If you're a parent in Alabama, you already know that navigating school enrollment can feel, well, it's kind of like trying to solve a giant puzzle while blindfolded. But today, we're taking that blindfold off. We are breaking down everything you need to know about Alabama's kindergarten rules. Consider this explainer your focused, totally stress-free guide to school registration. We're going to look closely at the facts, the actual dates, and the specific documents you need, all laid out cleanly so you can plan your family's next big step with absolute confidence.
And you know, it all really starts with this single magic digit, 5. In the state of Alabama, this number is literally the gateway to public school. Hitting the age of 5 is the primary milestone your child needs to reach just to even be considered for kindergarten enrollment. Sounds incredibly straightforward, right? I mean, you turn 5, you pack a tiny little backpack, and you head off to school. But, as with most administrative rules, the devil is absolutely in the details.
Because this brings us to the pressing question that keeps so many parents up at night: when exactly do they need to turn 5? Look, if your kid has a spring birthday, you're probably not sweating it at all. But what if they were born in late summer? Or what if they were born in early fall? A few days can literally make the difference between your child starting school this fall or waiting an entire additional year. And we all know that waiting a year can heavily impact a family's budgeting, work schedules, childcare arrangements, the whole shebang. So let's get some real clarity on how this actually works.
So let's dive into part 1, decoding the cutoff date and figuring out exactly when they need to turn 5.
The state actually gives us 2 distinct targets here. According to Alabama's administrative code, a child is entitled to enter public kindergarten if they are 5 years old on or before September 1st, or on or before the date school actually begins in your specific enrolling district, whichever one applies under the governing rule. Interestingly, you can't just look at a calendar and circle September 1st. Your local school district's specific calendar is just as important as the state-mandated date.
And because of that dual rule, I have to give you a massive red flag right now. Do not rely on your neighboring counties. Seriously. Since school start dates differ district by district, the absolute safest approach is to compare your child's birthday with both September 1st and the specific first day of school in your local system. Assuming your district just follows the exact same schedule as the city or county next door, well, that could result in your child missing the deadline by just a couple of days, potentially costing them an entire year of eligibility. No way do we want that.
And hey, if they do miss that cutoff, you need to know that there is no statewide guarantee for early admission. Some states across the country allow these broad early entry exceptions for kids who are super close to the cutoff, but Alabama's public kindergarten rule is strictly centered on the age criteria set in the law. Now, does that mean all hope is lost if you miss it by a day? Not necessarily. Local policies and special circumstances can sometimes change things, so parents should absolutely ask their local district directly if they believe their child might qualify under a specific exception or transfer situation. But as a baseline, expect that state cutoff to stand firm.
All right, moving right along to Section 2, why kindergarten matters now, and specifically the state's heavy focus on early literacy.
For sure, we have to talk about the Alabama Literacy Act. This is an absolutely crucial state initiative designed to improve reading proficiency for students starting in kindergarten going all the way through 3rd grade. This signifies a major shift. Kindergarten is no longer just a social milestone, you know? It's not just a simple transition year where kids learn to share and finger paint. It's now treated as a highly important foundational academic starting point, shifting the focus straight from playtime to true reading proficiency.
Hand in hand with that act, the Alabama Reading Initiative provides these really essential early kindergarten standards and related support materials. And because of this intense emphasis, you should expect to hear a lot more about readiness assessments and strict literacy goals. But don't worry, these aren't meant to be intimidating at all. They are simply tools specifically designed to help schools support your child from day one, which is absolutely crucial, especially since kids enter kindergarten with wildly different levels of prior preschool exposure.
Which brings us naturally to Section 3, eligibility versus readiness. Basically, just because they can go, doesn't mean they should. Let's look at how this builds our understanding of the whole child. Because on one side, we have eligibility. That is simply checking the legal box, right? Hitting the right age by the cutoff date. It's completely black and white. But on the other side, we have readiness, and this is entirely gray. Readiness involves evaluating your child's maturity, their language development, and their prior preschool experience. It's really about looking at your specific child and asking yourself, are they developmentally prepared to handle that heavy academic focus we were just talking about?
So the crucial point really boils down to this. The cutoff answers the eligibility question, but it does not replace a parent's judgment about readiness. I mean, parents so often wonder whether it's better to enroll their kid as soon as legally possible or just hold off and wait an extra year. A child who is technically eligible might actually benefit far more from an extra year of growth, setting them up for massive long-term success. On the flip side, a child who is truly ready might absolutely thrive by starting right on time. Trust your gut here, trust your intuition, and definitely consult with your pediatrician or preschool teacher if you're on the fence.
Okay, let's get super practical with Section 4, your enrollment checklist. It's time to be prepared.
Let's look at the actual paperwork you're going to need. While every district has its own slightly different checklist, you absolutely must be prepared with these standard records. First, a birth certificate or some other official proof of age. Second, immunization records. Alabama's rule specifically references immunization standards for entry, so if you have any medical or record-related issues, contact the school right now to get them resolved. And third, proof of residence in the district. Remember, hitting that age cutoff is only one piece of the puzzle. Basic health and residency proofs are hard requirements to actually secure your spot.
To wrap up your planning, just follow these 4 simple steps to really reduce your stress. Step 1. Confirm the exact first day of school with your specific district so you actually know your cutoff target. Step 2. Collect all your age, health, and residency documents early. Get it out of the way. Step 3. Call the school and ask about registration deadlines, kindergarten screening dates, or orientation. And Step 4, if your child's birthday is kind of flirting with that cutoff date, sit down and discuss their readiness with an early childhood educator. Because at the end of the day, all the paperwork and the administrative codes, those are just the mechanics of getting your child in the door. The real question you have to answer as a parent is this. Your child might be legally old enough, but are they truly ready to thrive? Take this information, contact your local school early, and make the absolute best decision for your family's future. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and we will see you next time.